Going on, everyone? The Airy Lord is back for another Walking Dead vlog. This one for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. Now, it's been a little bit since I've made a Walking Dead vlog of any sort because Fear the Walking Dead has not resumed the second half of its season, although I'm not really sure if I'm going to be doing reviews for the second half of Season 5. The mid-season finale, as many of you guys saw, did not rub me the right way. Not really sure where they're going with that series. I was all hyped up about the helicopter group when I started reviewing the first part of Season 5, and very quickly they disappointed me with where their direction was ultimately heading, so I kind of laid out why I was frustrated, and some of you agreed. I mean, some people were just indifferent because they weren't following it anyway, but I wanted to jump back into some of the Walking Dead news because it'll be coming up. The continuation of the show will be coming up before we know it. And I wanted to talk about Michonne's role in Season 10 and what we can expect from her in the future, because we do know that Denai Guerra is leaving The Walking Dead. Sad news, unfortunately, because we just lost Andrew Lincoln the year before in Season 9. There have been reports that Denai Guerra is going to stay in The Walking Dead for a longer period of time than Andrew Lincoln did. Because Andrew Lincoln only stayed those first 5 episodes, and it seems like Michonne is going to have a more vital role, maybe even into the second half of Season 10 if we're lucky. That'd be great. And then it seems like the most logical step from there is to have her go off and look for Rick. I don't really see them killing off her character, and that's kind of the discussion I wanted to have for this vlog. Do you see them killing off Michonne because she has to be taken out of this season somehow? So are they going to kill her, or are they going to have her go search? Maybe Gabriel gives her a clue, tells her about the helicopter, which, well, I mean, it was 6 freaking years ago. It would be a little late to tell her, but maybe the helicopter comes back and Michonne sees it. There's some clue that she finds that Rick is actually alive. I don't know what the heck it would be because there is the 6-year time jump. So I don't know what remnants or decaying of anything that would be around, because they already searched. We saw the flashback when Michonne was pregnant. Daryl and Michonne were looking for Rick. They found his gun. Daryl said that the river swept out to the ocean. They couldn't find a body. Daryl still somewhat believes that Rick is out there. He just doesn't know where. So is Michonne going to pick up on the? Is she gonna pick up on the trail and continue looking for him, and then maybe pop up in one of the movies? Because there was an interview that Scott Gimple, the almighty Scott Gimple, gave an interview recently saying that Michonne's time in The Walking Dead is not exactly over. He didn't really want to spoil it, but we do know when Andrew Lincoln said that his relationship with Rick Grimes was far from over, we had no idea what he was talking about, because obviously the news leaked early. He didn't want the news to leak early that he was leaving because people thought his character was dying and that he'd have a horrible fate because he just wanted off the show. No one knew where the show was headed, and it caused all this pandemonium. Come to find out, they were actually going to give the actor time off and then put him in this movie series and switch up his fate from the comic book, seemingly. I don't know if his fate maybe will be the same as the comic, and maybe they'll just do something different, have him come into the series later, or have something with the helicopter group go down the same way. Really hard to say. With Michonne, at least, I think it would make sense for her to come into the sequel. I say, have the first Rick Grimes movie be with him, with Jadis, maybe Isabel. Bring in some characters we do know. Have a cast that we don't know. The leader of the helicopter group, whatever the hell's going on. We're going to learn all of that stuff. And then Michonne can come in the second movie. Maybe she's captured. She's looking for Rick. I think it would be a great way to tie in the series and just give Rick some closure with Michonne, and or learn about the fact that he has a son and RJ and Judith grown up. I want Rick to experience those moments with his family, know that they're still alive, know that the community he left behind is still doing things despite the dire state of whatever situation he's in when he was ferried off in a helicopter. So Michonne can help bring us. She can be an additional bridge between the Rick Grimes movies and the original series, and I think her character has the opportunity to do that. It's just a matter if they do that, because that's going to be a big thing going into this season. As much as Negan and the Whispers and the Whisper of War and Alpha and Beta, Michonne's fate is a big, big, big indicator. Now, it's actually probably going to be in the second half of season 10 during the Whisper of War, the later parts of the Whisper of War, when Rick's love interest actually does die at the end of the Whisper of War, but Rick is around to see it. And we almost have a sequence that's very reminiscent of what Rick went through with Carl, where it's this long goodbye, she's bit, and Rick doesn't want to put her down. And you have the same thing kind of going with Carl. Now, I feel like they already remixed that, and that's done. Rick's not in the series, so they can't adapt it. But if it's funny that Michonne is leaving the show around the same time that Rick's love interest leaves / is killed off. So, in reality, her character isn't actually leaving any... She's leaving actually when her character is supposed to leave. Now, the character of Michonne in the comic lives on and survives the whole thing until Robert Kirkman's comic ends, as we know. Now, recently, he decided that. But Rick's love interest does suffer a pretty tragic fate, and it happens around the time that the Whisper of War is winding down. So if we get to that point at the end of Season 10, as I think we will... If that's when Michonne leaves, ironically, it will match up with that time. Now, it could also match up with her discovering some clues as to when she's going to leave and find Rick. There's also the wild card of her holding Lucille. I don't know what that's about. They have the shot where it's from the first-person perspective where she holds the bat up to the camera, like the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo sequence that we had the cliffhanger at the end of Season 6. I don't know what that's implicating. It implicates that Michonne knew where Lucille was this whole time, obviously, and we didn't think that Lucille was missing. They had it in storage somewhere, wherever the heck they had it. So they offer that at the end of the trailer. Now, instead of giving us some... Because I've always said it, the final sequence at the end of the trailer always gives us a hint as to what's going to happen in the back half of that season. For example, in the Season 9 trailer, we had a focus on Rick dealing with the aftermath of the war with Negan, trying to rebuild civilization. And then in the later part of the trailer, we have the sequence where Rosita and Eugene are hiding and they hear the Whisperers say, "Where are they?" which gives us foreshadowing into the whole Whisperer conflict. Same thing with Season 8. They teased with the Rick Dream sequence. They teased Carl's fate, his tragic fate when he dies, because his dream matches up with that vision. Trying to think in Season 7 if they did that in Season 7. I know they technically did, because they had the Oceanside sequence, so they did give us some deeper they did show us that there were more civilizations out there. Season 6 also did it when we had the main part of the trailer was dealing with the zombies, No Way Out, and then at the very end we see Dwight capturing Daryl, which gives us a lead into the Savior. So my point in going through that whole history is that every trailer usually teases something that's going to happen later down the road in the season. So Michonne holding Lucille, what does that implicate? Like, is there some extra character arc with her and Negan? Is her fate tied to Lucille? I don't really know. Is she going to get involved in the Whisperer War? And maybe it's that sequence from the comic where Dwight tosses Lucille to Negan. Maybe they'll remix that with Michonne since Dwight is on Fear the Walking Dead. There's lots of possibilities, but I think the most logical thing for me is that Michonne leaves the show and goes to the movies. In probably the second of the 3 Rick movies they have planned, that's where she would go. And that's where she would fit in. It's kind of funny that the movies have now become this place where they capture all of the actors who don't want to be on the show because of the longevity, the dedication towards filming it. You have the movies as this safe haven, like, okay, you only got to film for this set period of time, and then we package it together and have this big plot. Also, as a final note, interesting that Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl, was begging Denai Guerra to not leave the show. Apparently, he was begging her to not leave the show, which is very interesting because she's obviously one of the most veteran people there, besides Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride, who plays Carol. And it's ironic that Daryl and Carol have so many scenes, it seems like, this season. And Michonne now leaving is going to have a lot of implications towards that. And now the boat gets thinner. Like, the cast of your original characters is it's getting thin to the point where, you know, I hope they still have enough main list characters that people still come around and watch the show. Now, Season 9 still turned out to be phenomenal, even though I had my deep reservations, as you guys know. Season 9 still turned out to be phenomenal when Rick left. That's all attributed to the work of Angela Kang, so I give her the utmost credit, but in continuing that, we definitely have to keep the character development with some of our main casts, obviously Daryl, Carol, exploring our villains, giving the Whisperers a fulfilling arc, because I hated the way they ended in the comics. I've said this before, that their fate in the comics is really, really stupid, and I hope that the show can give them a much better fate, go into some of that deeper backstory. Already the way they've handled them in Season 9 has been leagues better. Like that building fight scene between Daryl and Beta does not happen in the comics, and they're already adding some new things, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about where Michonne's going. Do you think she's going to get killed off? Is her fate tied to Lucille? Is she leaving and looking for Rick in the movies? Like, what's her fate? What do you guys think? And let me know other topics you want me to discuss, because I'm still on the fence about covering Fear the Walking Dead. I'm going to lean towards no, simply because other than like maybe Alicia dying from the radiation poisoning and they do like a twist or something because you think she's safe because she showered it all off and then all of a sudden it actually kills her. I don't know. I really don't, other than like some surprise death where they kill the last semblance of the original Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what they really could do. So we'll have to see, and hopefully you guys will stick around for the ride and stay with me as we move forward. So with all of that said, I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for sticking around. Peace out, and be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. All right, see you guys.